Ciao. Good morning, y'all. Peace out, girl. Listen, I was getting so excited, like, hey girl. And I was talking and I was like, she can't hear me. This shit is muted when the video is playing. Oh my goodness. Thanks for being here. One of the things I was saying was maybe you can help me out with this because girl, I am so mad. Like I'm so mad and I can't stay long, but I just need to just talk about the system for a little bit because I'm pissed. Okay. And I really welcome any of your thoughts and suggestions because I need them. Um, ah, okay. Let me do my little woosah. Okay. So I do consultation with another therapist. She's actually my old supervisor, my old job. But now that I do private practice, I just pay for consultation because it's good. It's good to like have somebody check in with. It doesn't matter if I technically don't need it anymore. I just think it's nice to have other eyes and other ears. So I'm just so fed up, y'all. Like I've been doing therapy work for 9 years. Okay. I think it's about to be 10 next year. And some of y'all know I worked in Philly, and one of the jobs that I did was trauma therapy with kids. And I learned a lot in that job that I did. Like I'm very grateful for that position. I learned a lot about working with kids, and I just have a passion for for all the work that I do because I work with adults too, but I have a passion for doing trauma work. And one of the things I noticed was when I was in Philly, I mean, obviously Philly is a predominantly black city, so there's going to be a lot more black and Hispanic kids than a lot of the other places that I've worked in. But I did notice that there's just a higher number of kids in the CFS system, CPS system. It's different things in different states, but we're just going to go with in Canada so far. CFS is what they use, and I'm used to CPS in the states. So I would get a lot of kids that are in the CPS system. They're in foster homes. They've been removed for one thing or the other. The goal often is to get them to reunify with their parents. Sometimes the goal is to help them just to adjust because they're having behavioral issues. They're not going home. And like I've said before in other streams, a lot of times I'd be getting cases straight out the news, right? Like I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Like straight out the news, like murder cases, just horrible cases and stuff. And like I said, I learned a lot in that position. But then when I moved to a different county, and it was a lot more white people there. And I noticed that one time I met with this girl, and she was white, and she was probably like 16, and she had shared some things that was happening in her home, and I had to report it. Like this is why I think it's a fucking joke when I see these people try to crack jokes and stuff, because I'm like, you have no idea what I do for a living. You have no idea how many calls I've had to make. Get the fuck on. So anyway, I had to call CPS on her caregiver, and I remember telling her I had to do this, and a lot of teenagers most kids will get worried, but little kids don't understand necessarily what's going to happen. But older kids will usually be worried because I have to tell them, like, look, I got to make this call. She didn't look worried at all. She was like, look, ain't nothing fitting to happen. So I was like, what? Like the stuff she was telling me, I'm like, there's no way. So then I did make the call, and she told me, what she told me, guys? She said in the course of her life, there's been 17 calls made on her father. That girl has never been removed from her home. Okay. And these are serious things. This is not no little like small shit that's happening. It's like legit stuff, like things she should have been removed for, at least for a time period. Okay. And so when she said this, I said 17 calls. I don't remember. It was so long ago. She might have told me this after. So I made the report, and then I saw her for the next session. And I said, did anybody come to your house? And she was like, yeah. And then, child, I think that's when she told me that there were 17 calls that have been made. Her dad is out of control, like just out of control. Like the mother had left and stuff. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. If this was a black family, an indigenous family, a Hispanic family, if CFS, CPS, whatever DIFIS was called, these kids would still be in the home. Like, it just shows you that that's another layer to, yes, I wish I was making it up. I wish I was making it up, peace, love. And so that was one of my first, that wasn't the only moment that I obviously knew that the system was very racist, and they're quick to separate. They're faster to separate Black kids from their homes, which is many times they need to be removed. But why are you not doing this for the white kids that are in trouble? Because they're so much quicker to separate kids of color from their families. And I saw that shit and I said, these people ain't shit. Right? So fast forward to today, I have contracts with CFS. I work with a bunch of different CFSs. They send me clients and different things like that in my practice. And I have in my old building that I used to, before I changed locations, I had a family who the mom was indigenous and she had a few kids, and thankfully the kids were going home to her. Now, she had some substance abuse issues, and there was some domestic violence situation that happened. And she told me her ex-boyfriend was not allowed to be around her and the kids. Mind you, okay, there was no physical altercation. It was like all verbal. Okay, they're just saying it was very traumatic, and this is not the first time it's happened with this mom and other partners. So I understand why they're concerned, but I didn't understand why she could no longer have a relationship with this person. He didn't put his hands on her, none of that, right? Let me read this real quick. So Peace Love said, and it's the white kids that are shooting up the schools. If you don't speak them facts, Peace Love, see, this is the reason why we got the vanilla ISIS shooting up the schools, because they're not getting the help they need. Meanwhile, they're looking at, anyway, child, I'm going off on a whole nother topic. Okay. This is the reason why we have vanilla ISIS running amok and doing domestic terrorism. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So this woman told me this, and I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. And then I don't see her anymore. But I thought that was interesting that she wasn't allowed to be with her partner. I could understand him not being allowed to live with them, but he was not allowed to be anywhere near her and the kids. He doesn't have a record. She has a record. So then I have this case now where this kiddo is white. Okay. One of the parents stabbed the other parent. The child witnessed this. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of shit. I can't get into it, but we're just going to leave it there. He's going home soon. Okay. Going home. I'm worried. I'm terrified that he's going home. Okay. Because here's the gag. Here's the gag. The gag is my kid is going home. The dad lives with the mom. Now, do you remember a few moments ago, what did I just say? The indigenous mom who had some substance abuse issues and got into a verbal altercation with her partner is not allowed to she's not even allowed to have contact with that partner, much less for him to be around her and the kids. Okay. But this white family, okay, who the one person stabbed the other parent, this child is going home to this family. No restrictions. They have visits now together. Do you see this? Do you see what I'm saying? Let me read Jamie's comment. I just want that to sink in for a moment. Jamie said the system doesn't care about Black children, so it's easy to put them in the system and they can do what they want with them. Facts. And let me tell you, once you're in the system, it's very hard to get out, especially if you're a person of color. See, when I would work with families in Philly, if I thought you were a good parent and you just needed better tools, I would do my best to help you to be like, look, this is how you get your kids back. Okay. These are the things you need to stop doing. And I'm serious. Like, if I thought they were a good parent, there's just some people that are trash. They don't I'm gonna help you, but I'm not gonna help you the same way, because them kids is probably better off with somebody else. And I'm just keeping it real. Okay. Some people don't need to have no damn kids. Okay. So anyway, I just told y'all what happened with the indigenous mom versus this white family. This kid is going home. Okay. And the requirements for these parents to keep this plan for the kid to go home are so dumb. Like they're just so dumb. It's so light. It's so ridiculous. Okay. Meanwhile, with other families, they got to jump through 50 11 hoops just to not just to even to get overnights and stuff like that. So I'm talking to my the consultant, okay, the person I consult with, okay, she's white, okay. And I'm just so sick and tired. Sometimes I just get so tired. Okay, I just get so fucking tired. I'm talking to this lady and I was telling her my concerns about this kid going home. There's nothing we could do. Like they're going home, they're going home. I just have to support him and help him, to manage his feelings and stuff and to help him transition well. And so I'm telling her the stuff and I told her about the fact that this one parent stabbed the other parent and that they're in the same home together and the kids are allowed to go home, right? And so I'm like, I said to her, I made sure I tested her before I told her the other story. I said, don't you think that's weird? Don't you think that's strange that there's no precautions, that they're allowed to go back home? Nobody had to take no anger management courses, none of that shit. Okay. And she was like, yes, that is weird. So then I started to tell her, look, because y'all know how I am. I just keep it real. I don't give a fuck who you are. I said, well, I'm very concerned. And I told her the story about the indigenous mom I used to see and how, she had these restrictions just because she got into a verbal altercation and there was some substances involved. She couldn't see the partner and the kids were well bonded with the partner. So I said, how is it that this kid is going home to parents where there was a stabbing? And so I said to her, I said, this sounds like the system is filming this kid, and it sounds like this sounds racist to me. It sounds like because this is a white family, they don't give a shit. They're gonna send this kid home regardless, knowing it's a high probability that this kid is gonna get removed again. We don't want that to happen, but I've seen these cases before. Okay, I can't get into why I think that. But I've seen those cases before. The damn repeat offenders, okay? So I said this to her, and this lady had this glazed over look. This is what sent me. This lady had this glazed over look. And she just like, oh, I can't wait to talk to my husband about this, but he's at work. I'm about to go to work soon too. That's why I can't stay alone. And I said, this is this damn white glazed over look. The white glaze, I'm going to call it the white glaze. Okay. The white glaze is for either clueless or uncomfortable white people. Okay. They don't want to talk about, they don't want to hear about racism. They don't even want to fucking believe that this shit is real. Like that this shit is affecting kids disproportionately from different homes. Like when I said that shit to her, it was like, I wish I could recreate the face for you. I wish I could. And this is the shit that sent me. This is why I'm on my rant right now. Cause I'm like, the fuck? Like, I don't even know if I want to meet with this lady anymore. Why the fuck? First of all, you're not even a trained trauma therapist. You're a trained play therapist. Why am I doing consultation with somebody who's not even a trained trauma therapist? Okay. Part of trauma therapy is to help the child gain an age appropriate understanding of the shit that they experienced. Okay. You're telling me I should just play with the kid and smile and nod with the parents. Yes, I'm a smile and nod with the bio parents when I meet them, but they're sitting up here lying about what happened. How is the child supposed to gain an age appropriate understanding of what happened if the parents are lying about it? Do you understand the dilemma that I'm talking about, y'all? So between her telling me that bullshit and between her having the white glaze, when I told her that the system, that I've seen it, I've witnessed it, and I'm like, this is the shit that I don't understand. This is why we need more Black and brown therapists. Okay. This is the shit that I don't understand. It shouldn't have to take because I'm a Black woman to see this shit. How the fuck you've been doing this shit for years? I know this lady, I know for a fact that this lady works with indigenous kids because there's not a lot of us that sees kids in the area. How the fuck have you been doing this? I know she's been doing this shit for over 20 years. I know you work with indigenous children. How is it that you're going to have the white glaze when I'm talking to you about how this affects these kids disproportionately? Like, do y'all understand why my blood is boiling right now? I don't understand this shit at all. This is unacceptable. Let me tell you something. If you guys can, make sure, I've talked about this before, but those videos don't get no views. Okay. If you're a person of color, try your best to seek out a therapist of color. It may be hard depending on where you live. It may be difficult, but they exist. Okay. Because some of these people, okay, and then there's great therapists that are white. Okay. I've worked with a lot of different people, and I have some really good therapist buddies that are white that would understand some of the layers of marginalization and racism that I would trust. But at the end of the day, most of these people don't know what the fuck it is. Okay. They don't. And so if you have children of color, okay, especially if you're white and you have adopted children that are not whites, you make sure you try your best to get your kids in with a person of color. Or at the very least, make sure that that therapist has some significant training on multicultural competence, because you got a lot of people who might be good at doing therapy, but when it comes to these issues of understanding systemic racism, understanding marginalization, understanding how the motherfucking system, okay, is not there to serve and to work for Black and brown kids, it's not going to work. It's not going to fucking work. And so I'm talking to this lady, and I like her. You know, I've worked with her before, but I'm like, I told y'all, remember what I said in my live yesterday? New energy. I said, why am I working with this lady? Why the fuck am I working with this lady who just gave me the white glaze look? Like, bitch, like, it's just, I'm just appalled. This is part of why I left my other job. Part of it is I wanted to work for myself, but part of it's like, yo, how many people of color are going to come to me in this town that if I'm buried in the sea of whiteness? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so crazy. Like, I love getting people of color because it's important that people have support. I love all of my clients and I work hard for all of them. But this shit, like, this is very concerning. This is very concerning that this lady gave me the white glaze look when I'm talking about how it's different for Black, Indigenous, just kids of color, period, in the system. I'm going to need more from you, ma'am, than just a half-assed smile. I'm going to need more from you than that. This is the shit that I'm talking about. And it's just so, I think I shared something else that happened at that other job with like this client that I ended up, I'm gonna say dismissed her. I've never actually like gotten rid of a client before. She was the first one I got rid of. But just the cluelessness is irksome. Like it makes me have rage. It really makes me think, like, when I think about, you know, that things are already fucked up. But when I think about the people who are supposed to be there to support other people, you can't fully get it if there's basic shit you don't know. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Exactly, peace, love. And if you don't make it a point to deprogram yourself or to learn what you need, like, some people are just comfortable in their fucking bubble. Like, and I know they're mad that I left because I was one of the few people there, okay, who was a person of color. No, you're not gonna get your token person off of me. Get the fuck out of here. It just pisses me off. I told you I live in an area with low diversity, so it's just one of the struggles, you know, of where I live. And it's like, how are you working with Indigenous children? Like, I almost want to call up these Indigenous because there's different branches of CFS here, so. Yes, there are Indigenous kids in the regular CFS, but they also have separate branches of CFS that specifically work with Indigenous children. Slim said, unfortunately, a lot of Black therapists don't accept state insurance or insurance at all. A lot of families I used to work with were unable to get a Black therapist. This is also an issue. Slim, thank you for sharing this, love. They're making a very good point, okay? And here's the thing. Here's the thing that she's saying. Okay. Those are facts. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I don't do any direct billing, but because of my credentials, most people will get reimbursed for the session. The only thing I don't do, the only thing they won't get reimbursed for is EAP, but I do offer a sliding scale. And I think it's very important. And this is, I'm glad that Slim Thick is saying this because I do think that a lot of people need to consider that. If you really want to be there for your community, it has to be accessible. It has to be accessible. And I think it's very important I do offer a sliding scale for people because if you're not going to take insurance or if the insurance is not going to reimburse your clients, then I feel like this is just something I've done. I want to make sure people can afford it. I can't do it for everybody, but I'm going to make sure that I have a set number of people that I will see at a reduced rate. And I started to make a list of insurances that reimburse me for sessions. Most people will. Like if you have the credentials, most of the times your therapist. My bad, guys. I got excited and was clicking too much. But it's most of the times you can get reimbursed. But I love that Slim Thick said this because this is true. But this shit pissed me off. I'm like, how? Like, it just makes me think. Just like the other place I worked in Philly. Let me tell you something. That place that I worked in Philly, okay, I worked in 2 departments in that place. The first department that I worked in was very diverse. When I got that job to do the trauma work, that is one of the highest paying departments in that place. Now, most of the people that worked in that building were people of color. Do you know what the whitest department was in that damn building? The whitest department was the trauma department. Okay. Also, it was horrible because there weren't any male therapists, which I think is dumb. Like there weren't any male therapists. There were 3 people of color. Okay. One of us was Dominican. Then there's me. And then there's somebody else. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. I think she was African. Okay. So here we are in the middle of Philadelphia. Okay. Specializing in trauma for children. 98% of our clients are Black or brown. And you got a whole bunch of white women who are doing this therapy. Some of them were aware of these dynamics. And I've talked to my boss about that too. And the 2 heads were 2 white women. Okay. Now I couldn't help to think, this is the highest paid department in this entire building. And it's full of white people. And we're servicing Black and brown children, mostly Black kids. That shit made me pissed. It's almost like gatekeeping. It's almost like, why don't you, not that you have to have a therapist of color to do good work with kids, but like, how is it that we're in Philadelphia, one of the blackest, the blackiest cities in the States? And you got a whole bunch of white women working with these Black, like, make it make sense. I'm telling y'all the shit that I've seen. It's like, it's just things that make you go, do your research. All I'm saying is do your research. You can ask for, it is not inappropriate for you to ask for a person of color or to ask specifically for a Black person. Okay. Don't feel bad about that shit. It is a personal service. Okay. Yes, it's a personal service. Okay. It is. That shit sounds shady, right? Peace, love. Like some of the shit I didn't even think about till I left. Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Anyway, I worked in disadvantaged area. It was heartbreaking because these were single mothers, some living paycheck to paycheck. It made me so sad. They ended up with white therapists. Slim Thick, preach it, love. Like it's sad, but it's true. And let me tell you something. So where I had worked, it was I think it was all paid for by the government. Okay, it was basically free. I mean, they're getting a ridiculous rate of reimbursement because the type of therapy was specialized, but it was free. There was no copay, and I had a horrible show rate. Like, we actually, it wasn't just me, we all did. But then I pieced it together. Okay, if you're doing trauma therapy with people who are living paycheck to paycheck, most of them, not all, but most of them, who are trying to make ends meet, who have a whole bunch of other shit to deal with, their top priority is not going to be coming to therapy. As much as it sounds like I'm sure it would be great for you to be like, oh yeah, I wish I could get free therapy. I think it was hard for a lot of those families to understand. Oh, also, a lot of them took public transit to get there, right? I mean, I took public transit to work because it was easier, but you have to keep in mind these are working people with mostly multiple kids in their families. So I figured out, why is this rate so low? Like, they don't have to pay anything. They even got bus passes. They got transportation passes for free. And a lot of people wouldn't show up to therapy consistently. You had to come every week, but they just wouldn't show up. And all of us had these issues, right? And I realized, if you guys are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, guess what's on the bottom? It's not motherfucking therapy. Okay? It's food, it's shelter. I think sex is even up there before damn self-actualization. Psychological wellness, unfortunately, it's important, but if you are in dire straits, it's not the first thing that you're going to be looking at. You need to get fed. You need to have water. You need to have roof over your head. You need to be physically safe. You know what I'm saying? So I figured that shit out later, because I said, how come when I went to a different job, it's like, damn, people, I was trying to get rid of people. Like, they were always showing up. The show rate was better, but it was a slightly wealthier, well, not slightly, it was a much wealthier county. So these are the things that I've learned. So this is why when I see somebody sit up there with that goddamn white glaze, okay, for those of you who might just be joining, the white glaze is that look that some white people have when you talk about real shit and racism, and they motherfucking asses around there uncomfortable, okay? They don't know what to do with themselves. They don't want to come to terms with their white privilege and systemic racism. So they put on that white glaze face where either they're pretending or they're uncomfortable with the shit. I don't give a fuck, because it's not my problem. It's not my job to educate you, especially if you have certain jobs. Get your shit together. Exactly. Okay. And I'm about to go back to therapy, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and do video therapy, because where I live, there's not a lot. It ain't working. So I would rather do video therapy in the city. Okay, then I'll just drive out there when I can. Okay, because I'm not doing it. I'm just tired. Anyway, Sim6 said therapy for Black girls is a site. Yes, that's a great site you can use to find a Black therapist. Unfortunately, it's still hard to find a therapist that takes insurance, but it's worth a shot. And that is so hard. But don't forget, guys, don't give up, because even if they don't take insurance, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, why a lot of people don't do insurance, especially if they're private practice. So you can definitely get reimbursed but this is like, if you have the budget for it, you will get reimbursed by your insurance company, depending on your therapist credentials and depending on the insurance. Most places will. So don't give up, because the difference is that it's not direct billing. So the therapist isn't billing for you. And I'm going to talk about that before I go. Slimtic also said there are a lot of Black therapists that specialize in addiction and they take state insurance, but getting an appointment is hell. Yes. So anybody who takes state insurance, just like that place that I was just telling you about where I worked, it's always a wait list. I mean, a lot of people have wait lists as it is, but if you're dealing with the state insurance, the wait list is going to be crazy, because that's often what people have access to. So yeah, unfortunately, it's just going to be long. And that's how it is here too. Just a Petty Mess says, I'm behind the video, but wanted to say, if you're brown skin, get a brown skin professional. I agree. Thank you, Just a Petty Mess. I love that you said this. I thank you for saying that, because I really mean this wholeheartedly, y'all. Like, you can only unpack so much with certain people. And yes, there might be white people out there, white therapists who are trained, but that's extra training. You don't get that shit by accident. You have to be like committed, just like for me, right? I might learn some things in my program about working with the LGBT plus community, but I go ahead and I get extra training because it's not the job of my clients to teach me, what, like, I'm supposed to be there for them. I might not know everything, but if I'm trying to be there for them, I need to understand, do my best to understand that community. Vashti said, Slim is 100% correct because my former professor refused to take state insurance for clients and she's African American. When they become networks, some professionals forget where they come from. I'm going to talk about it, Vashti, because it's not always that. Sometimes it is, but it's not always that. Peace, Vashti. Thank you for being here, love. I love your name. Just Pettyman said, I had a white therapist who kept asking me the questions I was going to her for. What are you going to do? I can't imagine being in your situation. Yeah, no shit, bitch. Get the fuck on with them fake reflective therapeutic probes. Just dumb. Just dumb. Oh, hold on, guys. 1 second. I have to respond to this text. My bad. Okay, so I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna get on the insurance thing. Slim Thick said, Vashti, is it that, or is it that the state's giving the runaround? Oh, Slim Thick, we about to get into it. This is why this is gonna be important. Slim Thick know what time it is. Just a lot of them haven't taken a course in multiculturalism, or if they did, it goes right over their head. Exactly. So they have to be. Here's one of the upside. Even though I was trashing that department, one of the upside about a bunch of white women working in that department that's, serviced Black and brown kids is a lot of them who I'm very good friends with. Most of the women in there are actually have taken it upon themselves to learn more, to educate themselves, to understand what it means to be providing helping services to that community. And then we had other people in the department who were just there to collect a paycheck because, like I said, it was the highest paying department in that building. Okay, I don't have time to get into it, but I had to cuss out a couple hoes in a staff meeting, okay, because we were talking about Black Lives Matter, and one of the dumb bitches was around there laughing and rolling their eyes and shit, and I called them out. But we're not gonna get into that right now. But yes. Anyway, as Slim said, she has private clients, so she has the choice. It's her. If you have to get a white therapist, try to find one that care about the LGBT community. They may be a little better. Slim Thick's right. That is a good sign. That is a very good sign. Okay, so we're gonna get into insurance. It's not necessarily that people forget where they come from and they're just like F it. Okay, because I'm gonna be keeping it real with you. I don't do direct billing, and here's why. Insurance companies are trash. Okay, there's a few of them that are good that will, some of them don't even want to reimburse you for the rate that you charge. Okay, so I remember I thought my boss was lying. Okay, at one of my old jobs, she said, I don't remember if it was Blue Cross or whoever, reimburse them $40 per session. Do you know how much it costs for a therapy session? Not $40. Okay, that is a super crazy, ridiculous rate, but whatever. This was a few years ago. And I knew that was low because here's the difference. I don't know if this is across the board, but the state insurance pays higher rates. So even though it may be a lot of hoops, they pay higher rates. So part of it is if you're working for yourself, if I'm charging $115 a session and somebody only wants to pay me $40, it ain't working. And I'm just going to keep it real. See, I would rather offer a client a reduced rate way lower than my rate and have them pay out of pocket than deal with an insurance company who is trying to devalue and undervalue my work. I'm not doing that because that's ridiculous. Okay. So that's one thing. The next thing is this. Sometimes, depending on who you're working with, they might take up to 8 weeks to pay you. Everything is different. There's a lot of runarounds. They may reject your claim. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with when you do direct billing. So it's a lot easier for a lot of people to say, No, you pay me and your insurance will reimburse you. 9 times out of 10, that equation works a lot better than us direct billing people. Okay, it's very time consuming. They take for not everybody, but they take forever to pay you, and sometimes they don't even pay you the full rate. I'm going to tell you guys a story. Okay, recently I applied to be an EAP provider for Blue Cross in my area. Okay, I work in a rural area. So first of all, my dumbass didn't realize that EAP, there's different types of insurance programs. Some insurance companies will pay you 80% of what your session was. So like I said, let's say my sessions are 115, right? They're going to pay you 80% of that. So you have to cover the 20% and the insurance company reimburse you. That's pretty good. That's about as good as it gets. Sometimes you're lucky and you have super bomb insurance, they'll pay 100%. Very rare. Okay. Now, EAP is different. EAP says, we're going to contract you for this rate. It's not going to be the rate that you pay, that clients pay you directly. So it's less. And in return, we're going to send you a stream of clients. Okay. So you're always going to get referrals if they have them. And most of them, I think, pay fairly quickly. So I did not need to do this. I did this because of clients. There's a lot of clients in my area who have that insurance, especially if they work in a healthcare or they're school officials. So I said, let me sign up for this EAP. I had no idea that they do reduced rate. I didn't know none of that. So I found out halfway through the process. I had this interview. The lady was blowing a lot of smoke up my ass. It was like an hour and a half. And she was like, oh yeah, we're so excited. You're in a rural area. And so it's really great to have a therapist of color and, all this stuff. And she was just like, oh, you have so much experience, blah, blah, blah. She was just saying all this shit, right? All these things that she thought I wanted to hear. So then finally I said to her, oh no, I said, well, how much, what is your rate of pay, per session? So she was like, oh, we don't really get to that until, you sign on with us. And I said, the fuck? So anyway, she's like, let's schedule another interview. Oh, hey, Ben, sorry, I didn't see you. I'm behind. She's like, let's schedule another interview. So I said, okay, God. So I'm like, I scheduled another interview. Remember, this other interview was an hour and a half. Okay. So I'm giving this lady a lot of time. Ciao. I scheduled this interview and then again, continues to blow smoke up my ass. Okay. Let me do the math real quick. What percentage this lady was trying to offer me. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So finally, after blowing smoke out my ass for 2 interviews, okay, and she was like, I really hope that you want to join with us because I was talking about you. I was talking, about you to a lot of people and we're so excited, if you would join us. And I said to her, I went back to the question, what is the rate that you're going to pay me? Okay. Do you know this lady said, this is after she blew mad smoke up my ass. She talked about how many years I've been doing this, that I was a therapist of color, the odds that on the co-fought. This bitch tried to offer me less than 50% of what I charge my clients for EAP. So I said, is that negotiable? Now I knew they weren't going to pay the full rate. Somebody told me EAP does not pay the full rate. I was so disappointed. Because I said, this lady must think I'll take me for a joke. So she was like, so I think she was surprised. I don't know what she thought it was. I don't know if she saw me in pride. Exactly, Vashti. And this is what I'm saying. I love my clients, and I'm gonna go back to the other thing, and I want to be there for my clients. But I said, if you're gonna pay, you know what I told her? I told her what my lowest rate was for sliding scale. Do you know what that lady tried to offer me for EAP is $5 less than what I offer for my lowest tier for people who have a sliding scale? I want you to let that sink in. And I told her that shit. I wanted her to know she fucked up and that we're not going, ma'am. So she said, oh, well, you can have some time to think about it. And, oh no, she said, oh, I'll have to get back to you. Cause I said, is the rate negotiable? She said, I'll have to get back to you. The rate that I asked her for, she's like, oh, people have been with us for over like 10 years and they don't even get paid that. So she told me all I needed to know. Hell no to the no. So I said, okay, I'm not going to tell her on this video call. First of all, this lady wasted 2.5 hours of my precious time. Okay, I just lost so much money. If I saw clients, I could have made more money helping somebody else than talking to your raggedy ass, wasting my time kissing my ass. I don't have time, lady. Okay, so I wrote her. I let her percolate for a couple days because I wanted to see what she was going to return to me with, if she was going to make me an offer. I said, you know what? If that lady was complaining about the rate that I offered her, the counter offer, what, that's still a waste of my time. I would rather just offer that rate to a sliding scale client. I would rather just say, hey, if you can't afford this, this is what I can offer you to pay me if I have a spot, because I don't always have spots for those. And I said, I don't need this shit. Then I thought to myself, I'm going to start getting referrals, okay? And who knows what these referrals will be? Who knows what kind of referrals they're going to send me? So I wrote her an email and I said, thank you so much for the interviews. Thank you for explaining the system to me. I am not interested at this time at pursuing, a relationship with Blue Cross Blue Shield for the EAP program. In the future, if your rates have changed, then I may consider that. Have a great day. Let me read these comments. See, because sometimes they think too, because you're Black or you're in a rural area, you're desperate. Nah, ho, you're not going to do that to me. I would rather pass the savings on to a client. I'm not going to get screwed by Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's not happening. It's not working. I'm behind. Oh, sorry. I read that. Sorry. So I just wanted to give you all that info. It's not always about, there's a lot you have to put up with insurance companies. People don't understand. You know what I'm saying? What if you own a store? That's like, if you have a dress that's $200, and then let's say you could get insurance for dresses. And insurance said, we're going to pay you $100 for every person who comes in with our insurance for that dress. That dress is $200. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. You can't, it's not sustainable, especially depending on how many people you decide to take. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm a private practice practitioner. So I have overhead. I got to pay rent. Okay. I have to pay different fees and bills. You can't, it doesn't work that way. So I just want to tell you guys, it's not always what you think it is. It's not that people are greedy. Managed care can be a bitch to work with. Sorry, I read that. So it's just, I could not believe that lady wasted my time and blew all that smoke up my ass and then said, we're going to offer you, this is what we start at. Not interested. Thank you, Slim Thick. Thank y'all for being here, because I really needed to talk about this. This stuff is on my heart. Like, that shit make my soul burn. Like, I believe law enforcement needs a course in multiculturalism. Facts. It should be mandatory, Vashti. Absolutely. America don't give a fuck about mental health. They sure don't. They don't even care about their veterans. It's crazy. I cannot believe that lady said. It's sad. It's sad because we do care. And like I said, I would rather say, you know what? I'm gonna offer you this rate. This is my, and I actually stopped doing that because I feel like I was being too generous with that. And I really start to think, who really needs this? So that I don't have to say, I can only do this for you for 10 sessions. Then I'm gonna say, this is your rate, for now. And then that's it. It is what it is. That's what I started doing and most people that come in are able to pay the full rate. So people will be honest. Anytime people ask, I know they need it. They need a reduction. And then I talk about what they can afford. Medicare is the absolute worst when it comes to therapy. A lot of people with mental health issues receive that insurance because they're on disability. Yep. Why wouldn't that be a top priority? There's absolutely no excuse. There's not universal health care, so there's no reason why, at the very least, mental health care should be accessible for everybody. And even if they only limited how many sessions a year, I just think it's unacceptable. Like we talked about it before. We got Vanilla Isis shooting up the schools and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. Slim Dicks, mental illnesses akin to criminality. Okay. It's sad. It's sad. They don't want to invest. It is insulting. I know that lady felt like a fucking fool when she said that rate. She overplayed her hand. She was giving me Oberyn vibe from Game of Thrones. Okay, she gets her eye jukoed because she thought she had me in the bag. Because I was like, I was excited. But girl, not the rate you're offering me, honey. And I said to her, oh, in my email, I forgot to say this. I said, I actually have a steady stream of referrals and I'm almost full. So she really, and here's this. You guys are really going to like this. So in my area, it's very small. There are only 3 mental health, professionals who take Blue Cross Blue Shield EAP. One of them is retiring. One of them is not even accepting new clients. And I don't even know who the other person is, child. So they're going to be shit out of luck within the next year. Okay. They're going to be shit out of luck. Hey there, Yvette. They're going to be shit out of luck within the next year. Because when that man retires and when that other lady, she says she's just scaling down her clients, guess what? They're going to be calling me and I'm going to be like, did you change your rate? Because I'm actually full. I actually have a waiting list now. So this, I'm so glad that I did not, there's nope. It's like the therapist is on layaway. Exactly. They play too much. I would just, like I said, why would I pass on the savings to the insurance company? Why would I not just give that to the client if that's all they can afford? Yes. So Canada does have universal healthcare bench. Here's the thing. It covers medical. It doesn't cover, well, that's not true. You can get, I think mental health is only specific programs and it's very hard. There's long wait lists, but it's not like, most people who have a job have secondary insurance that will cover their dental services and it will also cover therapy. That's if you get insurance. So even though there's universal health in Canada, it doesn't necessarily cover mental health. I think to get mental health covered, it's like certain things, but there's a lot of other things that are covered. Like you're solid. You never have to worry about an ER bill. You don't got to worry about half the things that people, there's no copays at all. Not for a specialist, not for your primary care physician. You just go to the doctor. It's still amazing to me. Like it, yeah. And then prescriptions. That's another thing. Universal healthcare does not cover prescriptions. So if you have secondary insurance, that will often have a plan that will cover your prescriptions, and then you just pay a few dollars. So it's great, but don't think it covers everything because it doesn't. Because I thought that too. Good morning, love. Tiffany said, Tiffany, sis, you listen. You're gonna have to rewind because I need your input, girl. Listen, I was dealing with some stuff. Thank you so much, Derek Vest says. Shout out to Derek Vest says. Thank you for the donation, sis. I appreciate it. I'm just my soul is so irked. Yes, it was just, it's crazy. It's so much stuff, guys. It's so much stuff. I'm gonna read a few more and then I'm bad. I have to go because I got carried away and I gotta go see a client. Therapists are burnt out and they're taking their own mental health breaks, leaving clients in a bind. Slim thick, baby. One day I may have to come on here and tell y'all about the job from hell. Did y'all know that I had quit therapy for like how many months? I had to quit therapy this is before I left the States. I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 months. And I worked at a library. Because I said, and this, you know what the sad part was? Good morning, Miss Venus. It wasn't even my clients. It was the agency. These people had me seeing 10 people a day. I wish I was making it up. They had me seeing 9-10 people a day. So the job was advertised as 4-10. So you work 4 10-hour days and you're supposed to be off on Friday. Baby, there was no off on Friday. I was doing paperwork Friday. I was doing paperwork Saturday. And I was doing paperwork on Sunday. That system, the state's mental health system is evil. One thing I'll say about Canada, even though I only worked one job before I switched over to private practice, I'm telling you, I told y'all I felt like the damn bottom bitch. Okay, I was not joking. Okay, I was seeing so many people, and the better you are at your job, the more they take advantage of you. Okay, I had to get the fuck away from them, and it was listen. If I wasn't gonna get, I don't want to get in trouble for defamation. I would tell you the company so you can stay far the fuck away from them. Okay. Anyway, I don't got time to get into that story, but yes, I did. I had quit. And I said, bye, hoes, not my clients, but the agency. And I went and worked at a library. Well, first, actually, I just didn't work for 3 months. My husband was like, nope. He was like, I just don't want you to worry about it. And then I got bored. So I was like, I need to do something. I can't just be at home. Because this is when I was getting ready to move. And then, because I was going to just work up until the end. And then I went to work at a library, guys. I went to work at a library. And it was so peaceful. It was so good. It was so good. But then I did miss the work. And this is the reason why I refuse. I did not want a salary job when I came to Canada because I said, y'all niggas ain't gonna own my soul. Okay. You're not going to own my soul. That's why now I make my own schedule. Okay. I work 4 days a week. And then the fifth day, I do paperwork or whatever the fuck I want to do. Because y'all, and I see no more than 5 people a day. So not only am I healthier, but my clients are going to get the best care because they're not going to get somebody who is working, who's seeing 8 people before them. That's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I wish I could get into it, but I can't. Girl, them ER bills are from Satan. Okay, I watched a documentary on the teen in Canada that committed S. His family tried so hard to help him. It's so sad. Listen. Ooh, that's another topic. It's binge is deep. Listen, you don't got to worry about that here in Canada. I had a great therapist. She moved out of the state. I've been trying to find her. And that's how it is. Something when we find good people, we do try to hunt them down. Like, where'd you go? That's how it is. That's how it's supposed to be. Something had a recent experience out of my control some weeks ago, and then I got the bill a few days later. It's evil. I think it's messed up. I don't even want to go down that road because I know I'm just going to get hyped. Many are not compliant and using ER during acute crisis. Exactly. Healthcare in this country is trash. It's criminal. It's more than trash. It's criminals. When I moved to Canada and I said, wow, God, thank you. I'm like, this is absolutely criminal. Okay. There is no reason for the U.S. not to be able to afford basic healthcare for their people. It's a bunch of bullshit. They spend mad money on the military and fuck shit and everything else. Okay. They nickel and diamond folks. Don't listen to the lies. Don't listen to people say that shit. I don't even want to hear it. And the healthcare system is not perfect in Canada, but you know what? I'll tell you what, your stress levels are a lot lower knowing that, hey, I don't have to decide if I'm going to die at home or go in an ambulance. Tiffany, it was so bad that if I had to send a kid out 911, their parents would lose their shit. I know. Yeah, people will come slash your tires to that shit because then they get a bill. I feel all healthcare employees should get very low health cost insurance. I absolutely agree. I agree with that as well. Guys, y'all don't even know. Thank you for being here. If you missed the beginning, I encourage you to go back and listen, mainly because I talk about some deep stuff and I want to hear your thoughts about it. For those of you who are here the whole time, thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that's joined. Shout out to the Invest Show. Thank you for the super chat. And guys, I really wish I could stay more, but I really do have to go. But it's upsetting. Get you a Black therapist, okay? If you're Hispanic or a person of color, try to find some. Listen. I am not just saying this just to say it. A lot of people don't understand and they don't get it, period. I said it, okay? And until they make the effort to get extra education and understanding about what it means to be multiculturally competent, they ain't never gonna get it. And that's all I gotta say. I love y'all. Have a good day. Hopefully I'll be back soon and have a blessed day. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.